Hello, my name is Zack Nichols, and my number that I have for this assignment is number 17 with those words. All right, so once upon a time, many years ago, there was a peaceful town surrounded by a heavily wooded forest. Now, the people of this town were all very friendly, everyone knew each other. The people of this town all agreed to never go into the forest because it was known to be haunted. There were also rumors of a wicked witch living in these woods. The logic of this town was if they didn't bother the witch wouldn't bother them, and they would all live in peace. There were a lot of stories that involved the witch having used to live in this friendly town. And when she was younger, the kids used to tease her, call her ugly, just because she looked different than them. So the witch felt really ugly around these other girls, and this eventually led to her leaving the town and going to the forest. And ever since she went and ran away to the forest, it became haunted. And one day, this beautiful girl, wife of the mayor, went missing. And it's really weird because nobody in this town has ever gone missing at all. So, of course, there's a little search party for her. They're trying to find her. Nothing. They can never find her. And then for the next week, one by one, these other girls just keep going missing, and they're all beautiful girls. So this is really strange. So all the husbands get together, they talk it out with each other, they try to figure out what's going on, where have all these girls gone? Well, a lady explains to the mayor that she saw his wife wandering near the forest one day, and that's the last they saw of her, and she disappeared. And of course, he didn't believe her. He said she would never go near the forest. That's the town's rule. So all the husbands of the missing wives got together. They were all talking, and they came to the conclusion. They found out that they all shared the same story. Their wives all told them the same thing, that when they were all kids, all of these wives were the girls that teased this witch. They would call her ugly and harass her, and they realized that they all had something in common. So all the men, they're going to enter the forest. There's 10 of them. They're slow to get into the forest because they're terrified. But they slowly make their way in, and after about 10 minutes of traveling through the forest, they start hearing these weird noises. So they're looking around, and all of a sudden they get attacked by the trees. They come alive, and they're just killing some men. They're dragging some with them. There's just a huge battle going on. These men are only equipped with swords, so they're swinging away, cutting off branches, and they end up killing all the trees, and they just take off running. And they notice that 3 of their men died, so they just keep running in the forest, the remaining 7, and until they notice no one's chasing them, and they slow down, and they kind of get their thoughts together. A lot of them are trying to just leave the forest and give up, and they all decide they have to keep going. They got to try to find their wives. All right, so when the men finally looked up after they gathered their thoughts and recovered, they saw this huge mansion in the middle of the forest. So they decide they have to go in, they have to see what's in there. It could be their wives. So they creak in, they open the door, they creep into the mansion, they're looking around, and they notice there's a downstairs trail. So they follow this trail, and it leads to a big downstairs dungeon. And in this dungeon, they end up seeing their wives. They're all in an individual cell. They're all crying, and so the husbands go in there. They run to their wives, and they see them crying. So they're like, "Oh, are you injured? What's wrong? Why are you crying?" And each of the men notice that there's a mirror in each cell with the woman, and so they're asking the women, "Why are there mirrors in here with you guys? What's going on?" And all of a sudden, they hear a voice behind them. So the voice they heard was the witch. They turn around, and the witch says, "These are magic mirrors. These show one's true self. I did nothing to these women but show them their true self." And these women who were in the cell, their reflection was ugly, and uglier than the witch even looked. And the men, hearing this, were furious, so they grabbed the witch, they cornered her, and they tied her up. And they let their wives go, and they broke the mirrors. So they planned on taking the witch back to their town and burning her in front of the whole town to see, because of what she did. So they take her back to town, they free all their wives, and they tie her up, and they have her right in the middle of the town, and they're ready to put the flame on her. And right before, at the last minute, when they're about to burn the witch, all of the women who were previously kidnapped yelled, "Stop, stop!" And the men stopped, and the women explained You can't do this. This was all our fault. The witch wasn't in the wrong. We were mean to her. We caused this. This is all our fault. Please don't burn her." So the townspeople finally agreed, and they said, "Okay, if that's what you really wish." And the witch, seeing this, also apologized for what she did and forgave the townspeople for what they were about to do to her. And because of this, the witch released the curse on the forest. The heroic deed of forgiveness was spread throughout the land. The town was once again a peaceful town, and they all lived happily ever after. Thank you.